Standard ceiling installation. Step 1. Measuring the cab. Begin by measuring the width and the depth of the cab. Step 2. Measuring the ceiling. Next, we measure the width and the depth of the ceiling. Step 3. Determining the ceiling reveal. Use this formula to determine the reveal between the ceiling and the cab walls. Using our example, the space between the ceiling and the cab wall will be 2 inches at each side wall and 1.5 inches at the front and back. Step 4. Ceiling support. Finding the center of the unistrut. Using the provided blocks as a spacer to simulate the reveal, measure from the edge of the ceiling to the center of each unistrut. Step 5. Laying out the ceiling. Using a combination of the provided blocks, transfer the measurements of the perimeter unistrut to the dome. For all other unistrut measurements, use a tape measure and a square. When this step is completed, you should have lines on the dome that represent the center of each unistrut on the ceiling. Step 6. Marking for hole placement. Using these lines, determine the best placement for your ceiling holes. Always check the car top for obstructions before drilling. Step 7. Locating and mounting the threaded suspension rods. Using the provided blocks to represent the reveal between the ceiling and the cab, mark the unistrut where the threaded rods will be installed. Then, mount the threaded rods to the unistrut. Step 8. Setting the ceiling height. Set the height of the ceiling by measuring from the back face of the ceiling to the outside face of the washer. It is a good idea to use thread locks on each nut to keep them in place during installation. Step 9. Drilling the dome. From inside the cab, drill up through the dome using a 1/8 drill bit. Once every pilot hole has been drilled, use a hole saw to enlarge the 1/8 holes. A 1 1/8 to 1 1/4 hole saw is recommended. Step 10. Hanging the ceiling. Carry the ceiling into the cab and raise it into place. Padded 2x4s or telescoping poles can be used to hold the ceiling in place while the washers and nuts are finger tightened on the car top. Step 11. Centering and securing the ceiling. Using the provided blocks, center the ceiling on all 4 sides before tightening the nuts on the car top. Each awl thread should be double nutted using a nylock nut. Any excess awl thread should be cut flush with the top of the nylock and filed smoothly.